Thoughts on fingernail painting, Taylor?
I have my big toes painted.
You do?
I do.
Okay. You know what? Should I just keep rolling with this? Because right now I found another distressing one. So, let's say you're a moron. Or an idiot. A rube. The town fool.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is the best final since 2016 when the Cavs came back. This is like one of Trump's parades, man. Like, nobody's there. Like, it's crazy. It sounded chunky, didn't it?
It was a little echoey.
Well, because it's big doinks.
Big doinks. We got big doinks on the pod tonight.
Big doinks. What? Yeah, what are you guys drinking?
Got 2 big doinks. Now you might have to find it on there. Maybe it does.
Play that through the intro.
What's up, fellas? We're back. The NBA is over, and your Oklahoma City Thunder are the champion.
And in a way, we are as well. Trevor and I.
You and
Sorta.
Trevor are.
I mean, I also placed money and hedged my bets on the Pacers, and I would have made more money on that bet than I would have getting this bourbon from Taylor.
Because you're a coward.
Unless Taylor's going really big and expensive on our bourbons here.
I'm not going too crazy. I got a couple in mind.
What? You're not
But
going to
also,
go
you guys
$120
want to win a bet like that? Tyrese Haliburton just blows out his leg?
Look, we know it's a sad, wet blanket end to a great NBA Finals, but we still won something just like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oh, man. Before we jump into that, we are going to talk about it tonight. We are going to touch on what player are we most excited about to see in the NBA not named Cooper Flagg. Take it away, Matt.
Just Cooper Flagg's a little too obvious.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's excited to see him.
Yeah, I mean,
I
him
would agree.
being in Dallas, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Jason Kidd stuff, but he's like, we're putting Cooper Flagg at point guard because Kyrie's out for most of the year.
I saw that.
So we're going to let him take a run at point guard. Yeah, sign me up, man. That sounds great. Sounds incredible.
But we'll touch on this later in the show. At the end of it, D'Angelo Russell is now on Dallas, correct?
Yes.
So that'll be
Free agency is opened 1 hour ago.
Some teams have made mistakes already.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wait a little bit longer to see because there's a ton of people signing.
Yep.
And we'll get through whatever the rookie stuff and do a quick recap of the NBA Finals. We're a little bit past it, but it's okay.
We'll
That's
recap
all right.
it quick. Besides Coop, who you excited to see, Matt?
I mean, now everybody knows I don't watch college basketball.
True.
However, I do surface level diving into YouTube
Very
rabbit
big
holes
difference.
for some of these guys.
Surface.
Okay, I watch some highlight reels. Listen, it's only when they're playing well. I don't get to see the real bad games. So
Matt's like, I look at the
context
stat
is
lines
key.
against the worst teams
Yeah,
they play.
Exactly. I'm watching Duke against Chattanooga, and that's it.
Cooper Flagg, 50 points.
However, I do think some of these guys. I think this might turn out to be a fairly decent draft.
Yeah.
There's quite a few fun guys that are in this draft.
Are we, before you keep going, are we going based off of the draft, or can I just pick a player that I'm excited to watch?
Well, you can pick a player. I'm looking at these guys.
You're going
as
draft
like,
class.
How do they look on the team that?
Okay.
What kind of impact they're going to make immediately?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And my number one guy is I'm going to butcher the name. Khaman Maluach. Malik?
That sounded pretty
I think
good.
it's Malik. Okay.
That sounded pretty good.
Concerned, that sounds right.
You know what's sad? I practiced that like 3
Did you
times at
really?
home before I came over here.
Just in the
And then you
mirror.
realize when you got here that neither one of them are going to...
Exactly. So
he's
still
he's
blur
in
how
the
it's
mirror,
done.
just Cameron.
But this guy, so he got drafted by Phoenix in a rare, like, I kind of like what Phoenix is doing right now. The Durant trade, whatever. The whole Jalen Green, Brad Beal, Devin Booker backcourt makes me want to claw my eyes out. However,
I don't think there's anything Phoenix could have done that wouldn't be better for them.
right, I do like they obviously drafted Khaman, but they also traded for Mark Williams on draft night.
Yeah.
Which I like that. That's shoring up a center position that has been relegated to Bol and Yusuf Nurkic over the last few years. And we've seen in the past, DeAndre Ayton had some success. He's somebody that we could probably talk about a little bit later because he had a contract buyout in Portland and
Yep, I saw that.
is destined to become probably a Washington Wizard or a New Orleans Pelican, but we'll see. Actually, they signed Looney, so maybe not. Anyways, I just really like this guy. He's really, really raw. I think he's going to be a fun development project for them, but I just envision it as he's like the DeAndre Jordan sliding in and seeing Devin Booker, like Tyus Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you like that experiment better than our baby Gobert?
I do like that experiment more than the baby Gobert. I'm a little worried about baby Gobert.
I don't even know his real name for anyone who's listening. I don't even, what is his name?
Yon Behringer.
Is that the guy that
Behringer.
Wolves? Is that the guy that
Yes.
Wolves drafted? Okay.
I listen. He looks like a fun project. He's gonna have a great time in the G League. I don't think he'd play over Garza, but whatever.
Yep.
Maybe he has an outside shot to beat 50% of what Rudy Gobert has been. Maybe whatever.
And can possibly catch the ball.
Now that's not fair because culturally, French people, but still. Anyways,
Yeah.
you guys are
Back to
interrupting
your
me
yeah,
about
back
my
to
boy.
your guy.
I just saw him as somebody who probably could have developed a lot more at Duke. If they would have, I think playing with Cooper Flagg was probably pretty tough for a lot of the Duke guys. Now, certainly didn't hurt his draft stock.
No.
A lot of the Duke guys' draft stock. I mean,
all 5 of them got drafted.
yeah. I mean, that's
In the first, 3 and 2. Doesn't matter. They all got drafted.
yeah. I mean, anyways, it's pretty incredible that Duke squad that what was produced out of it. But I just think he's going to be able to eat down there. I think he's going to really, really play well for Phoenix. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. People are paying a premium for these kind of guys right now. Like, it's starting to shift back to, like, you need size, you need somebody that can rim run. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be like an all-rookie team guy, but he could be a lot of fun. We'll see how it splits up with Mark Williams in that front court and everything like that. But something fun for Phoenix to have on their team. I certainly like him a lot more than Patrick Queen going to New Orleans.
All right.
Thought that was a bit of a reach. What about you guys?
I like the Rucker guys. I shouldn't say I like. I'm very curious to see the Rucker guys play. Because I said before we even jumped on here, I am not very entertained by any of these guys. I am just curious to see how some of them do. Cooper Flagg's the only one who's like, obviously this is exciting.
I'm in the same boat. That Ace Bailey guy,
That's who I was thinking more so too.
I read an article that he legit thought that he could pick what team he played for off of the game 2K. Legit thought that, which is fine because that's what kids are growing up playing these days. And I don't think he's too thrilled that he's in Utah.
Well,
What gave it away that he never went to the team until this weekend?
Exactly.
was he picked up straight by them or was he one of the?
Oh no, he
trades?
was
he was
picked by
drafted
them.
by them.
Yep.
Okay.
And Utah was one of his teams on the very large list of I'm not going to that
Yeah.
team.
Okay, yeah.
And him in college, he was a stud. Rutgers had 2 guys. Who's the other guy? Ace Bailey
Dylan
and
Harper,
Dylan Harper.
who he probably actually will do really well for
But how
I think
is
Harper's
also
going to
where
pan
he
out a
just
little
went
bit
anyway.
better, but I think Ace Bailey's. I'm very curious to watch both of those guys. I agree, or with you. I think Ace Bailey's mindset is going to be negative going into this whole thing.
Yep.
And I think
yeah.
it's going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And then he's going to live it out for 4 years and potentially ruin his stock as he continues to play. So hopefully it doesn't, but we'll see.
I mean, the good thing about going there, if he can keep a positive mindset, is he's got lots of opportunity to play.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
That
He's
team's
going to
Jazz
get
are
shots.
trash.
the team's garbage.
They just traded Colin Sexton to the Hornets, actually.
Yeah,
So
and they also got another pick. They got Walter Clayton Jr. from
Yes.
the Wizards, which is another one of the ones I marked down as I'm curious. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to pan out as good as it could be, but
and if the Jazz, there's a contract buyout for Jordan Clarkson right now, so he's going to hit free agency, and they're looking to move Lauri Markkanen. These shots will be there for Ace Bailey.
yeah.
They will. We are going to see some absurd
I think
shot
if
numbers
he
from him.
can get his mindset correct, like he has the potential to actually be in a good situation here. And
Do-
Dylan Harper went to the Spurs.
Yeah.
Is he a power forward?
No, he's a
No,
point guard, which I was
yeah.
going to ask you guys. How do you think that works with De'Aaron Fox, who they just re-signed in the offseason? They have Stephon Castle back there.
But I think you can shift either one of them
Devin
to kind of a
Vassell.
2, or you can transition them as a 1 and a 2 and interchange them kind of.
But do you think the Spurs have a little buyer's remorse after trading quite a bit for De'Aaron Fox, signing him to a long-term deal, getting the second pick in the draft, and then being like, well, the best guy available is Dylan Harper,
He's a
so
point guard.
I guess we're going to draft him.
So the reason I asked about who we're looking at and excited to watch next year, like Stephon Kessel was on my list. Like the dude was a monster last year.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I'm like, and I was doing some quick research, and he, out of his 81 games, he played 26 minutes, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Like he played extremely well. I'm excited to see what he does with the Spurs next year with Wemby and all those guys. So that was my guy. Like I'm actually excited to watch.
I thought we were just talking rookies.
That's why I asked you.
Gotcha.
But that's why I asked you.
All
That's
right.
a whole total side
Rising
tangent.
Stars, I was like, yeah,
My mistake.
That's a whole total side tangent.
the whole Portland team.
Yeah.
Yes.
It will be they got a lot of point guards over there in San Antonio.
And the Chinese Jokic. Yang Hansen.
Over
I like how you go
over on the
Chinese
Spurs?
Jokic instead
This
of
is what
like
they call him. No, in
Yao
Portland.
Ming or
Oh,
something.
Portland.
In
Yeah,
Portland
I was
now.
going to say he didn't
The
go
guy
to the
who
Spurs.
the guy who's in the stands and they announced his name and they stood up and he pumped
And he
I was
came
like,
out.
I need to know everything about that man.
He was wearing all white on white on white. That was a nice suit.
You know, very interesting draft strategy by Portland to be like, hey, we have a glut of point guards.
Yeah.
And Drew Holiday exists on our team now too. So what if, just consider, after we drafted Donovan Clingan last year with our top pick, what if we just draft this guy out of China and he'll be our reclamation project for the next 3 years?
See what happens.
It's just smart by the baby Blazers, man. That's seeing value. That's seeing value. They have their third eye open.
Oh, the baby Blazers. Who else do you got?
Thomas Sorber.
Okay.
OKC gets to shore up their big man depth with a guy that, from the mock drafts that I saw, was not supposed to slide that far.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm a little surprised that OKC decided to keep that pick, but they won the finals. So maybe between winning the finals, having their championship parade, and then going to the draft all within 6 days or something like that, maybe they weren't really thinking about, oh, we should try to make some sort of a deal out of this. But Sorber, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks per game at Georgetown. Seems like a solid guy. I think one takeaway for me from the finals was a front line of Chet and Hartenstein is not going to do it.
No.
Those guys were struggling against
Chet,
Indiana.
Chet was almost non-existent.
So maybe
I think Hartenstein
Sorber
played the role he needed to play, but he's not supposed to be your scoring option or anything.
And Sorber's not going to Summer League. So to me that says
really?
he is immediately going to be a rotation guy for them.
All right.
Because usually everybody gets sent to Summer League. Flagg is going to Summer League. All these guys do.
He's only going to Summer League to whoop up on Bronny in Game 1, and then he's not going to play the rest of the time.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
Like I said, Jason Kidd sees him as a point guard, so you got to kind of see how that actually looks.
Yep.
So Sorber, again, it's just that team is just building up this massive, big man rotation that can really shore them up.
That's crazy.
Throughout the season, and then I'd say Tre Johnson. So, the Wizards traded Jordan Poole. He's going to have to do some fighting with TJ McConnell, who is now on the team for some reason. Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and Bub Carrington. But maybe he can be a heat check guy. Maybe a 6-man, something like that. Plus 850 to win Rookie of the Year. Just think about it.
You taking
what's
him?
his face from the Warriors?
What if Cooper Flagg gets hurt?
It's going to be like the Buddy Hield.
Huh?
That was like our who did we pick last year that absolutely flopped because he messed up his knee? The Sixers guy. Fingernail painter.
McCain.
Yeah.
That's how you know him?
Yeah.
The fingernail painter.
That's how I know him. Well, Duke guy, but yes, fingernail painter. Oh, boy.
Thoughts on fingernail painting, Taylor?
I have my big toes painted.
You do?
I do.
Okay. So we're gonna refer to you as the toenail painting guy?
I did it out of respect for a young individual that was there getting our feet done and said I should get my toenails painted. Well, I asked her, and then she said blue. And then the little lady that was doing my nails just ran over and got it. How many toes you want?
I don't know about that accent. I don't know about that accent, man. I don't know if you want to do that one again, but
I'm not going to do that one again. It's been a long day.
Oh shit.
It's been a long day. Oh boy. So those are your guys that you're watching next year.
It's going to be fun.
Do you have any of those on your list of rookie besides Flagg and the guy you just named the guy plus
Tre
850?
Johnson.
Tre Johnson.
I think. I mean, Cooper Flagg is like minus 190 to win Rookie of the Year, and then like the next guy is like Tre Johnson we'll see as once that first summer league game drops and Cooper Flagg has 20 points at half. It's probably gonna go way up.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a nice collection of guys, fun rotation people. It just like there were some mind-boggling decisions made during the draft, like the Nets keeping all 5 of their first rounders, and then drafting all of these guys that doesn't make any sense how they're actually going to fit together.
Yep.
Yeah.
And guys that seem like they were all reaches as well.
It's easy to see that not everybody can be the Thunder.
Right. And the one that really gets me, and I'm kind of thinking like Atlanta might have some juice next year, especially in the Down East. So Atlanta and New Orleans, and I made reference to Queen a little bit ago. I like Queen as a player from Maryland.
Oh,
I don't know why you would trade up for him like that, because the trade that was made was an unprotected first rounder next year, either from New Orleans or Milwaukee, whichever one is worse. New Orleans and Milwaukee have the potential to both be very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
And New Orleans just gave it up for no reason to trade up for this guy after they picked Fears. And like New Orleans, just as an aside, DeJounte Murray's coming back from a devastating knee injury. Trey Murphy barely played any last year. Herb Jones barely played last year. Zion is currently accused of rape.
Oh.
I did not hear that one.
So there is a likely chance that he will not see the court this year.
He won't be playing.
Not for injury-related reasons.
Huh.
And now you bring in Jordan Poole to this mess to get up his shots.
You know what it sounds like to me? They got their stuff figured out.
You think so?
That is flopping to the max.
Oh, man.
Joe Dumars, who was just in the NBA league office, leaves his job to go oversee the Pelicans. And these are his moves right off the bat. It is, and they signed Kevon Looney. What's going on down there?
Yeah, what is going on?
What's going on down there? Why are they doing all that? So, anyways,
that's fascinating.
New Orleans basketball. Has anyone ever cared? Nope.
I don't
They're
think
gonna have to earn next year. Can we give them the first 5 picks?
God. Yeah, courtesy. We'll add one pick to the first round just for New Orleans because we feel bad for them.
Courtesy.
Nobody can pick the second pick of any other team is literally gonna be the 6th.
It's atrocious.
Still be a terrible team.
It's atrocious. What else is atrocious, guys?
Any sleepers in the draft? Any teams that you're like, oh wow, okay.
I think this is a hard year to tell. It's kind of like a let's wait and find out almost.
We kind of talked about it a little bit. What's going to happen with that Hornets team exactly? Because from my understanding of Knuppel and the guy from wherever McDermott coaches at.
Creighton.
Creighton. Don't they kind of do the same exact thing as what all the other guys on the team already do? So you're just going to have a bunch of guys jacking up shots and not making anything? Like LaMelo Ball, like Brandon Miller.
Well, the Hornets drafted to build a team around Ball. Like, that's what they're going all in on.
Sure, why?
Like, I don't know why. I don't know why you would do.
They're looking for a time frame.
I don't know why you would do such a
thing.
thing.
Well, this was the time.
Maybe
this was the time.
Knupple's going to be.
There wasn't any. Can you say there was any players in this draft that you would say you're going to build a team around besides Cooper Flagg?
No, probably not.
No. So I think maybe you wait for that year where you get your guy that you want to make your new center.
So the
point.
Hornets are just going to be bad for the next.
Well, it could be
5 to 10 years.
If they get a if they get a number 1 pick, then it changes things.
No, it does. Yeah.
So, but they never will. Someone with a 2% chance will.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, but then we just see Dallas with a 1.6% chance win the draft.
Yeah.
And teams like Utah and Washington were 4 and 5, and they had 20% chance to win the draft. Like that. That's the thing about tanking that I do think the NBA has done a really nice job on, is de-incentivizing tanking.
I love it. I think everyone should have a lottery. Then we can be mad every year when Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I was gonna say in the NFL, if that ever would have happened when like the Patriots were on their dynasty,
Yeah.
I probably would have went ballistic. I probably would have lost my mind.
It still would be fun though.
Now, granted, the teams that are in that lottery are the ones that don't make playoffs. So
you're not
whatever.
actually getting these top tier teams,
But there's just too many stupid teams, especially in the NFL, that would make bad trades and like make bad transactions and everything like that.
Good teams can still be in the NFL. We don't need to go too far into this topic, but good teams can still have like low records because they're in a tough division or something.
Yes, very true.
Especially the NFL.
Yeah, very, very true.
I think Knuppel is going to be fun to watch. That's another guy you can add to my list.
He was on my list too. I never
very good 3-and-D guy. He can actually kind of do all of it. He's like 6'7", 6'6", 6'7".
I'm most curious if he can do it at the same rate that he was doing it.
He plays that style of basketball. It's just like he moves at his own pace and he can get where he wants. I don't understand it.
Yeah, but
like
the
you watch
NBA is
him,
where that can change for some of the people.
That boy is going to be Jason Capono.
Jason Capono.
That guy is going to be in the corner, hawking threes
did
while
Capono ever get
LaMelo
a
is
3-point contest win? Because then
jump in, man.
maybe he can get one of those.
Go for it.
I don't know if he did or not.
I worry with that team and just the way. Obviously, LaMelo handles the ball, and Brandon Miller is going to want to handle the ball like crazy. I just really worry that those guys are not going to get their opportunity to actually score.
Yeah,
and now you throw in Colin Sexton into that mix, who had an insane PR rating and like efficiency and all that kind of stuff. He is a shot chucker.
Yeah,
and he's coming in to chuck.
That's why you got to go to the Jazz, apparently.
That's why you go to the. That's why you go to the Jazz, baby.
Yeah, I agree with you on all that. Is the LaMelo going to give up the basketball for these other guys to shoot? Honestly, I think Knuppel will be able to play some defense. So we'll see. I don't know. I had him on my list.
I think he'll be fun to at least see if he can do the same thing he was doing in college. Because if he can, he'll be at a minimum, a really good role player.
Oh, for sure.
All right, I'm stepping on this for a minute because I just checked some free agency stuff.
Oh, I like it.
I might have mentioned something about Tyus Jones, like doing really well in Phoenix with these new big men. So he's going to the Magic. So scratch that part.
Okay.
Or actually keep it all in.
Keep it
there.
all in.
I like it.
We ride.
But
Tyus Jones to the Magic. 1 year, $7 million.
Good
Cannot
for him. Go
believe
to
the Timberwolves could not
that's what
counter that, man. Okay.
We got our live we have our live the podcast insider right
here.
here.
You know what? Should I just keep rolling with this? Because right now I found another distressing one.
I think we should.
You might as well
rolling.
transition into these free agency.
Guys, it's free agency, and tampering just is totally cool because how in an hour and a half do we have like 20 free agent contracts signed? Very unfortunate for my boys.
We'll just give you our live reaction.
So, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who we kind of knew after Nas and Julius signed. Can't really afford it. However, because Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a restricted free agent and we can't match a qualifying offer, they have to trade for him technically.
Okay.
So, Nickeil Alexander-Walker signed a 4-year, $62 million deal with the Hawks, which, damn, that's a nice number.
Yeah, good for him.
Atlanta is sending a 2027 second-round pick that was Cleveland's and cash to Minnesota to get Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
A pick and cash?
Pick and cash.
Okay.
Thoughts on that?
It had to happen.
Yeah, it had to happen, but a second-round pick and cash? Like I don't know much about the whole trade stuff and the apron stuff and this stuff and restricted stuff. Like, why not a person?
On that second apron.
Because we're already in the second apron.
We are, okay.
So now we can't. Well, now that he's gone, maybe there's a chance.
Okay.
Because when you're in the second apron, you can't do sign-in trades.
Got you.
So we couldn't facilitate that.
Okay.
But Atlanta obviously could. So we got some stuff back, and the cash will probably help.
So Minnesota can't even go out and be like, "Hey, we want to trade this guy." People need to call Minnesota to get their players.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
Who else?
Now, I will say for Minnesota, they can still do mid-level exceptions, which is going to be key in the middle of the year in case there's any kind of injuries. So that's like mid-tier deals, like $5 million and under.
Okay.
So if we could call people for that trade, I'm not sure we'd have anyone biting on anything.
We would
more
not.
Than that.
We would
that's
not.
Pretty much what you get.
Yeah. Luka Garza's going to the Celtics.
Oh.
Yes.
So there you go. Now Baby Gobert gets to play.
Luka Gobert has to play now.
Yep.
Luka Garza to the Celtics. Did he even play last year?
Well, they got rid of Porzingis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so he's in Atlanta.
Yeah. Porzingis is gone.
Another Atlanta move.
Porzingis is in Atlanta? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
Brooke
who's
Lopez.
the other center in Boston right now?
Al Horford.
Well, who's their other one?
They don't have one.
Luke Cornett to the Spurs.
Yeah, they don't have
4
one
years,
anymore.
$41 million. So there goes another Celtics center.
Yeah.
So it's Garza and Al Horford.
Interesting.
Not too pleased about that, but that's okay. Keep going.
Brooke Lopez, 2 years, $18 million to the Clippers.
Sure.
His time in the NBA is pretty close to done.
Yeah.
He's now a backup for Zubac. I mean, not a bad move. It's pretty good money on him. I don't think anybody really cares, but Karis LeVert is going to the Pistons. He's taking that Malik Beasley money because, if you guys don't know, Malik Beasley is maybe under federal investigation for gambling on games.
Is he really?
From last year.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
yes. I didn't even see that either.
Here's the thing. When you have federal agents involved in some of these things,
yeah, it's not good.
That's when it's real bad.
Yeah. You know something. Something's
bad.
going on.
So, apparently some prop bets for Mr. Malik Beasley. So, don't think he will be signing with the team this year.
Oh, man.
Unless he gets cleared. Clint Capela to the Rockets, another series of Rockets moves that I really like.
Isn't that where he started?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell to the Mavericks, 2 years, $13 million. We are going to have to just have a conversation about this.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
And actually just Dallas writ large, because I got some things to say.
I'm ready.
I don't really have
How many minutes do you need? Do you need 5, 3, 2?
Well, here's the thing. I don't really have a story that came across my desk today.
Okay.
Well, now it's the Dallas
Well,
story.
I guess this is the story that came across my desk.
Mr. Nico is getting under your skin, huh?
So, let's say you're a moron. Or an idiot, a rube, the town fool.
Okay.
And you have this big grand plan where you sell everything that you own and you get a couple beans back. You know, kind of like a Jack and the Beanstalk type thing.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, Jack is a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, terrible trade. Now, Nico makes this trade and is a laughingstock. And Luka is obviously going to be a great Laker. And everybody's clowning him. And then, and this is why I believe in some conspiracy theories, they win the goddamn lottery.
Yep.
And they get a generational talent again.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into a press conference and says, and it's so funny that D'Angelo Russell signing there is triggering all
Nico
this.
does?
Yeah,
Nico says this?
It should,
this
actually,
is me like realizing like where is this stemming from? And
regardless of this part, D'Angelo Russell should trigger some anger.
I will return to D'Angelo Russell. But Nico Harrison saying, quote, I think people are starting to see the vision now. So Jack walked ass backwards into some magic beans.
Yep.
And now everybody's got to be like, what a genius he is. He was playing 3D chess. He was 10 moves ahead of everybody else. The town fool should be our king because he freaking planted those beans and it was a giant ass beanstalk and now he's got to fight all these trolls. I don't know if you're familiar with the Tall Tale.
I do. Yeah,
anyways, Nico Harrison being like, well, look at what my plan did. We have Cooper Flagg now, so it's all going to make sense. And now, what a dynamic player that we have. And all of this defense first nonsense that he has been spouting. And then, 17 minutes into free agency, they signed D'Angelo Russell just for 2 years, $13 million. It's not a lot.
There ain't no defense
They can get out of that deal mid-year if they want to.
Yeah.
And probably not have to pay anything else to D'Angelo Russell. It's so comically absurd and idiotic to me that you are going to take away Cooper Flagg, his ability to score, Anthony Davis's ability to score with this guy who has been run out of town on every single team he has been on, including the Lakers twice.
The only thing that could possibly be okay with that is that if you truly are going Cooper Flagg is year one, and D'Lo doesn't see a minute on the court unless something bad happens.
Like Kyrie's coming back. Kyrie signed an extension this offseason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's injured, but he
D'Angelo
will
Russell
come back.
should be your plan. That like I'm only signing you for minimum money in case we have the worst scenario ever. Everyone gets hurt.
So
But there's
ultimately,
no way
this
you
won't
tell
matter
him that.
much.
And he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I
No,
can
you
do
don't
that.
tell
He's going
him
to be like,
that,
I'm going to come in and start hucking.
Exactly.
Well, you
Exactly.
don't put him on the court.
You're right.
That's
Listen,
the thing.
Jack's a dumbass. He's buying those beans every single
Yeah.
time. And I
Watch,
just
someone's going to offer the best player in the NBA for D'Lo.
I just think so. Anyways, maybe that's the story that slid across my desk today, because I just think this little like Nico Harrison puffing my chest out, acting like I'm the smartest man in the room and I know better than everybody else kind of thing. And then this is free agency day one, hour one move is to sign him to play with all of those guys.
I would have been.
You're just adding cancer to your locker room.
This is a terrible
True.
statement too, and I would have been more okay with Chris Paul going there.
It would have made more sense.
Chris
Yeah.
Paul, yeah.
It would have made, and you probably could have done it for
Or
just
another
1 year, $13 million, and
or
then
another
you're out.
point guard
You're
like
done.
Tyus or something. Like another point guard
Yes.
like
That's been a
that.
good idea.
Yeah.
Tyus,
That'd
1
have
year,
been a
$7
great
million.
idea.
Yeah.
Do
What is
that.
D'Angelo getting?
2 years, $13 million. It's not much.
Yeah.
He won't play that much, but I promise you, it is going to come down to a game in it's going to be like January, and I'm going to be watching on TNT. And it's going to be like a tight game against the Thunder, and you're going to be like, wow, Mavs are really playing well. This is kind of crazy. And D'Angelo Russell's going to come in, and he's going to miss 4 threes in 5 possessions, and I'm going to kill him.
All with 20 seconds left on the shot
He doesn't
clock.
even play for my team anymore. And every time I see him, I just think, all of those times I watched you chuck the ball and it hit the middle of the backboard.
I can't stand watching him on.
He was on Minnesota for a while, wasn't he?
Yes.
How long?
Sadly. Just a few
Too
years.
long.
Just
Too
yeah.
So did
long.
he go Lakers, Minnesota, Lakers?
No, no,
He
no.
went
Dallas?
Minnesota first.
Lakers,
right?
Nets,
it was-
Minnesota,
okay,
Lakers,
it was- yeah,
Nets,
there we go.
Dallas.
He went back to the Nets again?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dang.
Yes.
That's-
He has been
He's-
tossed
he
and
went-
traded around.
He
man.
rebounded on 2 teams?
Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah. So
Who else do we got on the free agent world?
yeah, let's stop talking about the Mavericks. I'm good with that. I'm good. Bruce Brown, he's going back to the Nuggets. Oh, a good trade, I would say, by the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr. And they had to kick in an unprotected first-round pick in 2032
Oh my gosh.
to the Nets for Cam Johnson. That's when you know the stock is bad. When you're pumping and dumping like that, and you're throwing more in because you can't get rid of this toxic asset. Great. I love Cam Johnson. I think he's going to be a
but
really nice player for them.
He's had some of his inconsistent moments, so it will be interesting to see. I guess it's interesting to see him on a team where he won't be like the have to go to guy.
Yes. Him being in a lineup with obviously Jokic, but Jamal Murray
Maria.
and bringing in Aaron Gordon.
Yeah. So
I
he's going
like
to get
that
plenty
for
of
him
his
a lot.
opportunities.
Yes.
But he also doesn't have to force it.
And he doesn't have the bad tendencies that Michael Porter Jr. has.
Yes.
Where you're
I
like,
can't.
hey, we're 3 seconds into the shot clock. Michael's shooting. Okay. Okay. Oh, that literally didn't hit anything. Okay, great. And then you don't have to worry about him on the defensive end either. So there's good solid potential for Michael or not for Michael Porter Jr.
For Cam
Johnson.
Yeah.
We're about to see the most absurd Michael Porter Jr. season in recent history. That dude is going to attempt 25, 30 shots a game.
If his shoulder gets
At least this
reattached,
time
he was
I
playing
can't.
with a broken shoulder
His
all of
back's
playoffs.
broke, his shoulders broke. He's a broke boy.
Well, he didn't play at Missouri because he was broken. He played 3 games and he got drafted, what, 2?
He got drafted pretty high.
What?
He got drafted pretty high. Tyus' brother Tre signed a 3-year deal with the Bulls.
I don't even know how he did last year.
Good for
I don't
him.
Follow him at all.
Not well. Another great Houston move, Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 years, $53 million. Maybe this is a good segue into Durant talk. How do we like what Houston's done? They've obviously traded for Durant. They've got off Jalen Green. They've signed Dorian Finney-Smith. They've signed Clint Capella, Torrey Eason, Aaron Holiday. They've brought back a lot of guys. Fred VanVleet took a lot less money to stay with them.
I'm not
Jabari Smith just signed an extension.
totally opposed to it, but I do feel like they had the young rising stars
Yeah.
thing going, and then they kind of went to, let's just get a bunch of guys that are going to retire.
No, one guy.
Well, one guy that's
One
going to retire.
guy.
And Clint Capela's not that young anymore either.
No, and he stinks.
How many?
Well, he's a good rebounder, which they maybe will
He's
want
sucks.
for,
realistically,
I don't know, but,
how many more years do you think Durant has?
This is it.
You think this is it? So you think that?
Can't keep doing this, man.
You think Houston
can't keep doing it?
Well,
two.
is he going to be there for 2 years, 3 years? I don't even know what he signed.
Well, he's still on his deal from Phoenix.
How many years was that left?
So
2?
I think he's got 2 left.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll play the last two. But
So let's say he's got 2 years left. And
His player option, I think, is pretty insane. I don't have the contract right in front of me, but I can go ahead and report that he's going to opt into it.
Yeah.
I think we've all mentioned this and talked about this, but Amon Thompson's a stud. He's a very, very good, fun basketball player
Future
to watch.
MVP.
Yep, future MVP.
That's right.
And I've mentioned that I think Durant coming into this mix is going to put a halt or a temporary pause on what he could have been or could have been doing with that team moving forward. And I agree with you. They were like the young stars, the young guys coming up, competing with people, playing well, playing good basketball. And now you throw in a 40-year-old who can still score the ball. He's a very, 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 very good offensive player, statistically.
But you see all these teams that are succeeding moving away from the one-star player.
No, you're right.
And
you
now
got
they just
Indiana,
went right
you got
back to the
Oklahoma
old
City.
But you're bringing in the guy for the one last shot. Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
But I don't even think they have a chance
Tom Brady
to
hasn't won anywhere.
Okay. Kevin Durant has 2 Finals MVPs.
On a team that was
absolutely
hold
bad.
Does he have 2 Finals MVPs?
I'm not taking away
Yes.
how good he is. That's not my point.
That's
I'm saying
I don't think this move...
you understood my point, though.
I understand your point.
I don't think this move does anything for the Rockets. I think they're going to do the exact same thing they did last year.
I agree.
You like it a lot?
I like it a lot.
So you think they're going to do second round last year?
Oh, no, they lost in the first round.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
To the
lost the
Warriors.
To the Warriors.
But with
I
Seth Curry.
think
You're right.
I think one of the problems with Houston last year was when it got down to who's taking the last shot, Jalen Green was doing it. That's not a winning formula.
No.
That's
That
not the guy
is
that you want doing
a
that.
problem, but are you okay with trading that for something that's like your entire game you kind of have to feed this person?
100% yes.
Okay.
Kevin Durant is still a bucket.
He is.
Yeah.
Now,
His stats last year were nuts.
the first November game that goes a little sideways and all of a sudden Kevin Durant is tweeting through it in the middle of the night, then we can have a different conversation about this. Because,
I don't know if that'll happen, though.
I love Kevin Durant. These have been some trying last years. And I genuinely think the end of the Warriors to the Nets and to Phoenix is kind of a stain on his legacy.
Yeah, we mentioned it last, I don't know,
I
2-3 podcasts ago.
That is
He needs to do
be
something
in
special.
consideration
I
someday.
think
Yeah.
Durant does make the Rockets better now, but I don't think he makes them good enough to be what they need him, what they're getting him for. I don't think it pushes them to a championship.
It does suck that he didn't go to like the East, because I think he would have like
That would have been
immediately
interesting.
propelled the team
Yeah.
to a different tier.
To at least like conference finals,
like-
probably.
like
If
Kevin
you go on
Durant-
any relevant
The East
team.
is in shambles next year.
Like Kevin Durant, if Detroit, Orlando, even Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he's gonna bring those teams from like, well, maybe you're a 6 seed, 7 seed play and whatever, to a 2 or a 3.
Yeah.
With Houston, they were a 2 seed last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna say they're the 1 seed.
That's
So-
literally my only problem with it.
Are they better
that's
than
what I'm
OKC?
saying. They are not. And
Are
that's
they-
why
Okay.
this is a trade that doesn't work, is because you're in the wrong year to do it.
Here's a litmus
Like-
test. Are they better than OKC?
No.
Are they better than Minnesota? Oh,
I would need to see them play a couple games together.
The matchup would be rough for us, yes.
are they better than the Lakers?
No.
Depends what the Lakers can get around for a center to
Clippers?
actually play.
Yes.
I think the Clippers are better.
How about Warriors?
Yeah.
They're better than the Warriors, but the
Okay.
Warriors have some magic going that I just never
Okay.
doubt them when
Okay.
Curry's on the court. I don't know.
I think just kind of
They're better than the Warriors this year, though.
yes.
And they lost to 'em.
absolutely. I like this Houston team. I like Ime Udoka, even though he cheated on his wife Nia Long.
But how far do you think they can go with this team?
I think it's less about what is Durant going to do and more about what is the next step now for Amen Thompson.
But I think you could
Sengun.
focus on your young guys more if you don't think you're going to win the championship and build them up. And then Durant has no business being there because you have 2 years of like, we're just trying to get better.
Right. And I see what you guys are saying. We just came off of a finals with OKC and Indiana where I feel like my takeaway is like the NBA is working because there's development.
Yeah.
Now you were saying development. We've been doing this for too long. Let's go.
Yeah.
We're rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Which I'm guessing for some of those guys that are on Houston, they probably feel like, God, we've been in a wasteland for how many years? Sengun and Amen Thompson, not for that long, but like Jalen Green, like all that kind of stuff. To kind of just be awful for a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's like it's time to go. We got that taste of it last year. They still lost to the Warriors in pretty embarrassing fashion, but
yeah,
it stands for a reason.
The one thing I'll give them is what they gave away to get him. Fine, like no problem with that. Yeah, no problem with that.
Wasn't that bad? Again, you get off the Jalen Green part of it. I'm not a Jalen Green fan. I don't think he's going to be successful in Phoenix. He is somebody that would need to go to the Nets, in my opinion. A team that he can chuck.
Well, Phoenix is so
maybe he'll find himself on the Jazz.
Weird. I don't know what Phoenix can do with anything.
No. I mean, and like Devin Booker is going to have to sign a deal soon. He's going to have to sign an extension.
I think they should have just gone as much blow it up as they could have possibly done.
But they've just
kind of gone in the direction, but not fully committed.
But they missed their window.
Yeah, I know. That's
they missed their window for opportunity.
But that's where I'm saying I would even do it next year, even if like some really weird thing happens. Like next year, just blow it up.
So then you're foregoing Devin Booker. This isn't really having to do with like this free agency class or anything like that.
Back to whatever.
But no, I'm just saying like Devin Booker is going to be due like $80 million a year soon, $75 million a year soon.
Yeah, and I don't think it's worth it for the Suns.
So do you think? And he would get that from Phoenix because he's been there for so long.
Yeah,
and all pro teams, whatever. So he's going to forego that and take like 55, 60 at a different team.
Oh,
do you think he would do that?
No.
Yeah. That dude's going to die in Phoenix.
Yeah, you will. He'll try to.
I love Devin Booker, man. That dude is going to die in Phoenix.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Him, Brad Beal. Oh, Brad Beal.
I don't know if he'll be there.
I always forget about Brad Beal. And then I remember he's making like $55 million a year to like not really play.
That's unreal.
That's a great deal.
Did the Timber Pups make any drastic moves in the free agency yet?
Yeah, dude. Joe Ingles. Is he kidding? Joe Ingles, baby.
Okay.
No.
Besides trading Alexander Walker?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not much we can do right now.
I mean, Jaren Jackson, 5 years, $240. I mean, that's a pretty big deal for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
After trading Bane.
Yep.
Especially with the rumors around that other people were trying to grab him. So I don't know how successful those actually would have been.
Well, I don't think so either. But it's just going to be the friction in Memphis of what's going on with Ja, and because I think you can build around Triple J.
If they commit to it, I think they should. Is what I think is the right move.
You just saw Desmond Bane get traded for 5 first-round picks.
That was crazy.
5 for Taylor. Just stop shaking your head.
You
5 first-round picks.
You can't see me shaking my head.
I will stand by.
That's unreal.
I will tell you that I do think that guy was underrated, but not that underrated.
Okay, but this is what I'm kind of curious about.
Look at the other big-time trades that happened earlier this year, and those guys didn't even get 5 first-round picks.
Yeah,
it doesn't make the Rudy Gobert trade that bad anymore. To me,
no, it looks almost identical.
Unreal.
Like even I think about Mikal Bridges, 5 first-round picks. That dude could walk after this year. Like he could just walk. Yeah. He would be an unrestricted free agent. Mm-hmm. Imagine your team trades 5 first-round picks and the guy plays for your team for 2 seasons because you pissed him off so bad. Knicks, whole other thing. Don't need to get into him today. But they're interviewing Mike Brown to be their head coach. After calling every team in the NBA and being like, "Hey, can we interview your head coach? Because we We fired Tom Thibodeau on a wing, on a wing.
I love
and
how
we were
no
like,
one...
oh hey, well we can just get Chris Finch, we can get Ame Adoka, we can call the Heat about Spoelstra. And everybody's like, no, go fuck yourself.
I love
throw
how
the
they're
explicit
not even...
on there, but like, come on, man.
I love how they're just being like, no, you're not even coming close to talking to any of
so
our staff members.
Now you're just gonna get Mike Brown, who got ran out of Sacramento.
Jeepers.
Awful after like 7 games last year.
Are there any? We talk player free agency. Are there any coach free agencies right now that are like worthy of that job or can like do something in that job?
I don't know why they don't try to hire Taylor Jenkins, who was the guy in Memphis that got fired last year. I like him as a coach. Taylor Jenkins is the winningest head coach in Grizzlies history.
Okay.
And they just fired him. Michael Malone, winningest head coach in Denver Nuggets history.
Yeah.
He's still a free agent.
Yeah, that one was weird. I still don't know what happened there. There's got to be like some...
Well, also, the Nuggets fired their GM and everything like that. Yeah. And they still haven't hired a GM, if you're curious. So they went through the draft without a general manager.
Who was making the decisions?
Front
office?
The interim GM and the ownership group.
I don't remember who they drafted.
Here's another crazy-ass thing. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, the Raptors fired their president of basketball operations.
Okay.
They just went through the draft. Masai Ujiri was the guy who brought in Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
And they fired him. Why would you let him go through all of this? And now you're in free agency. And now you got nothing.
It would be fun.
Who's making the deals here?
It would be fun to be a fly on the wall on like in all the exec boards and just see like,
oh my God,
you're not doing well enough. See ya.
Yeah,
you're fired.
It doesn't make any sense. And just like, this is why the NBA is great, man. Because just when you
we just love to see people get fired.
Just when you think like, again, you watch that finals and you're like, man, the Pacers, the Thunder, this is like a new generation of teams. These are going to be teams that analytically are so smart. They're so well built. There's so much great development. Like these teams should really, really be propped up. And then you're like, the Raptors fired their president of basketball operations like 2 days after the draft got done. And they got nobody riding the ship right now in free agency. Awesome. Awesome. I can't believe they won a championship. But awesome. My team can't win a championship. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. New ownership. They give them a year. See what happens.
Like, I don't understand this. The Nuggets, who made that trade? The owner probably did.
Probably.
The owner was like, I like Cam Johnson. Sure. Bring him in.
I've heard good things about him.
2K said he was ready to get.
Yeah. So I was playing 2K last night, guys. What are we thinking about Cam Johnson? Yeah. Michael Porter Jr. not doing so hot on my 2K team. The Cronkies, who own like 7 sports teams around the world. They own like the freaking Rams and the Avalanche and Manchester United and stuff like that. Yeah, they've got time to go ahead and crunch numbers on Cam Johnson versus Michael Porter Jr. for sure.
Oh, I love it. All right. There's going to be more free agency talk as we continue these podcasts over the next couple months. We're going to jump into the NBA Finals.
It's a good note to end on.
It is a good note to end on.
I mean,
I thoroughly enjoyed these NBA Finals.
Other than the Haliburton injury.
Other than someone getting hurt Game 7 when he was on an absolute heater in the first 7 minutes, I thought
and he's the glue of what makes their
you're right.
distributing work.
TJ McConnell ain't coming in trying to throw up threes and see what happens.
Props to him for his scoring run, but he is not the distributing type that keeps the team flowing.
What scoring run? The turnover scoring run or the actual scoring run?
TJ McConnell scoring a lot of points, not his turnovers.
The TJ McConnell,
not giving the other team
scoring run, yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. I enjoyed it. It sucked that Haliburton went out the way he did. I think he's going to come back, and I think that team's going to be good again next year. If they can get through All-Star break at an average position, because Haliburton won't come back until after that. That's all besides the point. What do we think, Matt?
I mean, I think this is the best final since 2016 when the Cavs came back, and you can even look.
That one wasn't even good until Game 4.
It was not good. It was not
the whole time.
Exactly, but also highest rated finals since 2016. So all the people that are like, well, no one's going to watch Indiana versus Oklahoma City.
Yes, they
get
are.
Fucked.
Yeah, you can say that. You can say that straight to ESPN.
Yeah,
if you
get
want.
fucked because like almost 17 million people watched Game 7.
Time to put Minnesota in,
which is big. Oh baby, let's really test the limits.
Shrink
of
the market.
Let's really see. But it's really unfortunate Haliburton got hurt because it kind of put a little bit of a damper on the team, on the finals. Because when he went out, 21 turnovers by the Pacers in Game 7. The Thunder, after being down at half by a point, held the Pacers to 34 to 20, and then just ran away with it in Game 7. So, props to the Thunder, man. I thought this team could do it. I got real nervous when they went to 7 games with the Nuggets, and then really got nervous with this Pacers team because they were hot.
Still almost kind of stand by. I'm not going to go too far into it, but Scott Foster won a game that should not have been won.
Scott, you and the rest of the conspiracy theorists about Scott Foster.
I'm with Trevor on that one.
But just to again, I feel like we need to give more credence to the Thunder for actually pulling it off versus the Pacers losing, because I think there's some interesting storylines that came out of this that's really going to frame the next few years of the NBA. I'm less bullish on my dynasty take for the Thunder.
I think it's too tough of a West to.
But I do think there's some potential here. SGA scored 688 points. That's the most ever by a player in NBA playoff history. That's pretty crazy. He obviously won Western Conference Finals. He was MVP, the Western Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP. First guy to do that since Jokic. He's not really beating the free throw merchant allegations.
No.
He was 190 of 217 from the free throw line.
We might get a new rule, though. We might get that armbar finally canceled for one game.
No one's doing the Harden drag through much anymore. So now they need to put in a new one.
We need the new Harden rule for SGA,
but SGA averaged 30 points per game in these playoffs, man.
Look, he is an extremely good scorer. I just wish to see his good scoring off of the foul calling.
Yeah.
He's still really good. He'll still average quite a bit.
I agree with you, Trevor. I enjoyed watching him play. I think he plays a little bit different than most.
I love that he drives a lot.
Exactly. He plays a little bit different than most of these superstars, where it's kind of just gun it and then
only the arm bar
and then back to the basket kind of basketball. He's not. He's all downhill. He gets by players. He pulls up. He stops. The arm is the arm. We'll see what happens next year. But, SGA was fun to watch.
And I just think, and I guess this is when I need to eat a little crow, even though I was pretty dead on with a lot of what I was thinking was going to happen this series. Just want to say that for all the fans at home.
Except for the number of games.
Good thing he's on our podcast, not yours.
Pardon my take, guys won't call me back.
Damn it.
What the hell is that about? They must have learned that I never listen to their stupid-ass show.
I made you sign a contract in your sleep. You're never leaving.
Right. That's true. But I was way wrong on Jalen Williams, man. He was so fun. He's so good.
He just signed an extension.
He also just had surgery yesterday on his wrist. Apparently, he tore a ligament in his wrist at the end of the regular season. And that kind of explains a lot. Shaky against the Nuggets, but, man, he was so clutch against the Timberwolves and the Pacers.
Put up 40 in one of them.
Put up 40. He had 23, 5, and 3 for the playoffs. I said he's not quite like Scottie Pippen, but more like a Chris Middleton when Milwaukee went on their run.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
It's a little bit better.
That's much more. I like that take.
It's a lot
more
better
than Scottie Pippen.
Yes. He is not an all-defensive guy, and he's not like a lights-out shooter. However,
but he certainly did exactly what they needed him to do.
He did exactly what he needed them to do, which was Chris Middleton's role during.
Yeah,
he plays on that. He plays on that team perfectly. It's
mind-blowing to think all the runs and all the points that he had, and the SGA just casually just crushed him in points anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
It's crazy.
There were games where SGA...
It seemed like he wasn't scoring at all.
No, and then the little ticker on the bottom will pop up, 35, 6, and 7. I'm like... Yep. 35, 6, and 7. And
he's
granted...
efficient.
It's I saw 13 of those points.
Even if he took a lot of free throws, 13 for 15, still 35 points, 6 and 7. What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, because he spreads them out a lot too. It's part of his the patient player that they always talk about, and he is extremely patient.
Yeah, I just overall those guys were kind of my main takeaways from the Thunder, but they had a good game from Wiggins. They had a good game from Kason Wallace. They had insane Lou Dort threes that looked like they hit the top of the freaking arena and they somehow came down. Like
it's like when Draymond Green's hitting threes against us.
Exactly, and you want to pull your hair out because you're like, no way, he's a 13% 3-point shooter, but okay.
We had a kid in college who shot like that, and at the gym the gym I played at the whole time, it was called Cargis. The ceiling was so low. He hit the damn ceiling with his ball. God. Like, that's high arc. If you're in a college,
no matter how low that ceiling is, that's pretty insane.
It was nuts. He would hit it constantly.
So would he just throw it straight up and have a little bit of roll on
Dude
it?
Can cash it though.
Okay.
He would just
right.
launch it.
All right, but I mean, turnovers were the big part of the series. It's the big part of what defined both of their runs to the finals. The Pacers averaged 18 turnovers per game, and the Thunder had 13. That's just in the finals.
Yeah. I'd say that was the difference in the series before that, too. So.
Right, and Pacers had a lot of turnovers in Game 7.
OKC takes care of the ball.
Whoever won the turnover battle is usually the one that won the game. The exception was Game 1 with the Haliburton shot, and Game 4 they both had 14 turnovers. But just in general, like, these are teams that capitalized on the other team's mistakes and made them pay like crazy.
I think that was the whole thing for me is like the OKC seemed like the better team to me, and the Pacers just took advantage of every mistake in some of those games, and it was crazy.
A team like that has to, though. And we've said it on here before, like they don't have a true go-to guy, even though you can say Haliburton might have been that guy.
But how many times
you can't give Haliburton the ball and be like, hey, buddy, go get us 35.
Well, Pascal was the leading scorer per game.
Yeah, I know.
Per game average.
Yeah.
So
and even with him, you can't do that. Be like, hey, Pascal, go get 35.
Right.
He needs Haliburton and other players to do stuff for him in order for him to get shots up.
Exactly.
And for the Pacers, there wasn't like a Miles Turner game. There wasn't a Nembhard game. There wasn't Siakam played really, really well, but like Mathurin had a really great game. TJ McConnell, obviously, and I have a nice award for him. Well, Hall of Fame award for him in a second here, but like you didn't have that same contribution that like the Thunder had, where like the eighth guy in the Thunder comes in and has like 15 points, and you're like, how can you just do that? Why can you just do that? And the Pacers just really struggled to scrap stuff together.
I remember at one point it was like at half or something, it was like bench points of 28 to 3 or something.
Yeah. It was just an insane run by both of these teams. So much fun. I think we need to give some flowers to Tyrese Haliburton because he's likely going to be out for the whole next year.
Yeah.
Unless something
is really
different with Achilles injuries.
Come on, do the Aaron
It'll be
Rodgers
very
and come back
interesting. It'll be very interesting to see all the Achilles injuries next year that happen in the NBA, how quick they come back because of the new stuff they are doing with Achilles. You can take Aaron Rodgers as an example. It's going to be fascinating. I think Tatum for sure is going to be back. Dame is going to for sure be back. Tyrese could be back.
Well, the thing is with these long seasons, though, that a lot of those guys don't really push it, so they'll still sit out.
They'll sit out. Even if they sit out till the All-Star break. That's
as
February.
long as they're ready to come back for like when it really matters. But
it'll be wild. But Haliburton was the glue of that offense, assisting on 39% of all the possessions. Like, that's wild.
That's insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So when he goes down, TJ ain't doing that.
Yeah.
No.
Two out of every 5 possessions, he's assisting on a play.
Mm-hmm.
A successful score.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we'll ever see as many clutch moments as we saw from him in this
playoff
series.
No.
Holy smokes.
The amount of shots, the amount of threes that he hit,
and it wasn't even the last ones. Like everything he took in the last 2 minutes.
It's just crazy. But it's awesome that Indiana has kind of found this. I shouldn't say found this star because they did trade for him and whatever. But they have been able to develop him into this star. Again, I think that's kind of the biggest takeaway for me is both of these teams have shown that they can develop these guys. SGA, Jalen Williams, Tyrese Haliburton. Siakam plays different than he did in Toronto now.
Yep.
Nembhard, I think, is going to be a defensive star.
He was awesome
was
in
great
that
on
series.
SGA.
Yeah.
It's so impressive to me to see they're not splashy free agents coming in, right?
Yep.
Because they're not the cool destinations.
Yeah.
But they can be perennial contenders.
Yeah.
And
Perennial
I love to
contenders.
see, I mean, this is kind of split 50-50, but some people are finally starting to appreciate that a player like Haliburton can be a star without having to score
Right.
30 points in that game.
Yeah.
He still made everybody else score.
Absolutely. It's kind of like.
But then you got those guys that say he disappeared. It's not necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't know how much I buy into the he disappeared or the Kendrick Perkins halftime, you need to step up kind of stupid shit that happened on ESPN.
That's where I said 50%.
50%. Can I give out an award?
Yeah.
So
Let's hear it.
This is the first one that I've been able to give out. Very excited about it. I'd like to know your
Preview
thoughts.
for our awards coming up later.
Well, the J.J. Barea Postseason Hall of Fame Award will not be in the Diane Warren Awards, unfortunately.
Yeah, but this is just the outside awards.
This is just an outside award. TJ McConnell, come grab your... What do you think the jacket color should be? He's Puerto Rican, so maybe red, white, and blue?
Mm.
He's Puerto Rican?
He is Puerto Rican. Yeah.
Maybe a nice
Red, white, and blue.
tri-colored suit jacket, something like that.
On the inside or the outside? Like lined?
Outside.
Ooh,
could you do...
flashy. Because
How
you can
about
go
red
just
and
like
blue on the
traditional
outside?
black and then just open it up and it's straight Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's nice. That is nice. That is nice.
The inside's just a map of that.
The inside is just Puerto Rico.
Yep.
TJ McConnell, come on down. Get your jacket. Get your jacket.
Come
my man.
on down.
Now, TJ McConnell joining Matthew Dellavedova,
Yep.
Jordan Poole, Robert Horry,
I don't.
and Steve Kerr.
Jordan Poole doesn't deserve an award.
This is to recognize people with insane postseason runs.
Jordan Poole never deserves an award.
Okay, well, he might be the biggest reason why they won the championship, but the Steph
Warriors,
haters,
right?
The Steph lovers don't want to talk about
Yeah.
that. You know how many times it only felt like McConnell was the only guy who could get a shot on the Pacers?
There was a point in that game where he had
Game
13
7, yeah.
straight points because all he would do is drive underneath the basket, out of the basket, underneath the basket. Oh, I got a layup opportunity.
Yeah.
Money.
It's the same dumb shit my brother used to do to me on a basketball court. I hated it. He'd drive at me, and then he'd kick off with his foot, and it was almost like a Paul Pierce shot.
Ooh.
Where he'd shoot his legs like this.
Yeah.
The listeners just what
like
the
splits.
true shoot's like.
Yeah, like the splits.
So then he'd get a little bit of separation and just hit a little dinky one right above my head.
So you're saying he's not
man.
you saying he's not giving you the Dirk knee, he's giving you the true splits.
Yes.
The whole
Oh,
thing.
He's
okay.
pretty
Full
much
extension.
putting his foot underneath my groin
Got you.
to get separation.
Yeah.
That kind of disgusting thing.
Okay.
But averaged 12, 4, 3, and 2 steals in 20 minutes per game. Shot 55% from the field, folks. That is efficiency. That is J.J. Barea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
His steals and his scoring burst were amazing.
how is T.J. McConnell going to play next year when he has to do a full regular season where he will likely be the starter?
Well, it's going to be like Game 7, which is the scary
Well-
thing. You get that burst of scoring, but you know why the other guys didn't score?
Because he couldn't handle the basketball.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
How, as a point guard, he looked like he was playing panicked.
Oh, he was definitely
I think he
panicking.
was.
Like,
Yeah.
absolutely frantic. It's
Which
like,
is why it worked great for the other games where
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, this new thing came in and what do we do about it?
Like,
But
Right.
dude, you're
Not a full game.
you're gonna play more. Just control the basketball. I get when he's only in
Take
there
a
20.
deep breath, TJ.
Yeah, I get when
Yeah.
he's only in there 20 minutes a game, and it's like, hey, you are the go guy. Go,
Yeah.
go get your stuff done, and then
Right.
we're not gonna play you the rest of the game.
Exactly.
He had so many turnovers. At one point, I think he might have had 4 in a row, and then he put his head down and gotta get back on defense, and the ball's already in the hole, and then it's coming back the other
guys,
way.
He just got his Hall of Fame jacket.
Now, on the other side,
on.
here's his Hall of Fame speech, though. His steals were insane.
His
He got,
steals were
Yeah,
insane.
you are
5 in
right.
3 minutes.
You are
Exactly.
right. You are right.
That's exaggerating, but you get the point. It was really quick to get all
A
those
point
steals.
guard who struggles with dribbling. Yes, I agree. Preposterous.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Doesn't make a lot of sense that little guy can make all those shots on big dudes. But he still deserves it because J.J. Barea was the same way.
I was gonna say, yeah, he fits perfectly
True.
with all the guys you
Exactly.
mentioned, except for Jordan Poole.
I know you have your little beef with Jordan Poole.
Yeah.
We need to have an aside about Chet Holmgren because I'm growing concerned My brothers. My Minnesota brothers.
This is the first time I've watched him.
The Minnesota Council of Athletes needs to convene.
Okay.
We need Joe Mauer there.
That he did horrible. He just didn't do. He did horrible offensively.
For how much he's hyped up, though,
Yeah.
I don't think he played well the whole series.
know that- Maybe you guys hear more hype around him than I hear, because I don't feel like he's hyped that much. Like, SGA is the hype, which he should be.
But he's like their 2B guy. He should
he's
be able
definitely
to. He should be
Yeah, I
able to
guess.
play pretty consistently instead of running down the lane, getting a two-handed dunk, screaming to the world because he's 7'4". You should be able to dunk that ball, and then go back down to the other end, not play well defense, and then go back down to the other end and jack up a three that takes him 30 seconds to get off. I don't know.
I thought his defense
I'm
was
not
fine,
sold.
but that's it.
I'm not sold. What do you got to tell us about Chet? You're just stewing over
Let's
there.
hear you.
He's got to be Chris Bosh.
There's a perfect call.
That's a good example. And he was not Chris Bosh.
a lot.
He was not Chris Bosh.
But he was not Chris Bosh.
Not even
No.
close.
And they still won the finals. And I guarantee you, if the Thunder lose the finals, that is the first thing that people are going to talk about.
Chet?
Is why was Chet not a contributor? SGA,
Yeah.
Jalen Williams played their asses off.
The whole team played their asses off besides him.
Chet. Who,
I don't know. A lot of those guys were like a one game. Like, they found the right guy for the right game, but like
12
only
points per game? 12 points per game from Chet. Like really? Like, this is, again, the Minnesota Council of Athletes. We got Joe Mauer.
Mm-hmm.
We got Taylor Heisey
Mm-hmm.
from Lake City. Champion.
Mm-hmm. Paige Beckers.
Paige. Lindsey Whalen.
Maya Moore.
Maya Moore.
Yeah.
She's not from Minnesota.
You're right. Never mind.
We
Get her
need
off
from
the
Minnesota.
Get her
But
off
here's-
the council.
Jalen
hasn't
Suggs
played that
is an
many years,
honorary
though.
guy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's
Doesn't it,
supposed
though?
to be this. He is supposed to be the
Kinda
glue guy,
matters.
and he is a liability.
He
to
should
me.
have been the glue guy.
He's a liability.
Yeah,
I'm
but
with
if by
you,
that
Matt.
same standard, then no, never mind. I'm not going to even change the.
I
get
need
there.
my big boy to be Chris Bosh. Joe Mauer and I talked about it. Chet should be doing this.
Okay.
He should be.
Now, the rest of us will convene at another time. But I'm just saying, if Chet wants to get on the council, he's got a ring that does qualify you a little bit. I need to see you play a little better. He does not need to be number 2. He does not need to be Dwayne Wade.
Yeah,
That's why he's
yeah.
2B.
I do think he needs
Williams
to
is
do better than
2A.
what he did. I just don't think it was that. I wasn't that surprised. Let's put it that way.
But to go from the season, and we said this on a previous podcast, where those three, their big three was scoring 80-plus points a game, to going all the way down to 12 points?
Yeah, but didn't he do pretty solid through the playoffs besides that?
That's a
Did he
great
not?
question.
I don't remember
It wasn't
for sure.
great.
It wasn't amazing, but like
He did really well
I think he did
against.
fine.
He had games. Like
he
you
did
ju-
really well against the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
He beat the Timberwolves up.
He had
Yeah.
games, like you
Pretty
said, Trevor.
badly.
Like he found, like, oh, that was Chet's game. He had 20-something points. Yeah.
And I think in my mind that's what you expect from a younger guy that's can maybe fill into the shoes eventually in his career. And I'm not saying like OKC does need him to step up his game. I'm not saying they don't.
I realize we're saying all of this after they won a finals, first
Yeah.
time since they made the move to OKC. I think the first time that they have won a championship since like '79 or something like that
been
with
a
the
while.
Sonics. So like, take it with a grain of salt. But this is just what I was seeing. I wasn't seeing him on the court doing anything worthy.
No.
And I want him to get in the gym. I want him to commit. Can you talk to him about your meal, your diet?
I
Yeah,
should.
you should
Just
bulk
give him
him
a
up.
protein diet, man.
I should bulk him up, but honestly, I don't even know if that frame could fit any like muscle on.
You know what he needs to
is
get?
so long and lanky. He's longer and lankier than Kevin Durant.
That is true.
And Kevin Durant is long and lanky.
He needs to get on that Gaston diet. You know what I mean?
Diet.
3 dozen eggs when he was a boy.
Yep, every day.
4 dozen eggs now.
Is
and
he
he's
s-
the size of a barge.
Is he singing through Oklahoma as he does it?
He should.
He should.
He should. Get on that Gaston diet, dude.
Oh boy.
Let's get that boy some eggs.
He does need to get on a diet. He needs to eat. He needs to get into the gym. I think Chet's going to pan out. I think he'll do well next year for those guys, but I don't think he did much in the playoffs.
Speaking as a fat ass, I think he needs to eat more.
Give him some pasta. Give him some
Hey,
bread.
if that boy wants to get some weight, he can come hang out with me for a couple months, and I guarantee you
What are
he'll
you
put some
feeding him?
LBs
What
on.
are you feeding him?
Until he got in trouble, I was going to say just go send him with Zion for a while.
Well, yikes.
So the finals, we like the finals. The
A+
finals were
finals,
good.
baby.
The
A+
finals were
plus.
good. I like the two teams that were in it.
Game 7 just could have been more fun if
Game
everyone was
7,
healthy.
Yes.
yeah. Game 7 could have been more fun. Can we touch on something that this new generation of basketball players are having trouble with opening beer and champagne bottles? Can we touch on this real quick before we see if
They're
these
also having
two
trouble
teams
drinking them. Didn't you see that
Yeah.
too? Yeah.
Man.
before
Left
we
so
see
many
if
of
these
them.
two teams can make it back next year? I just want your guys' quick thoughts on Jen whatever not being able to open up a champagne bottle and Chet having to turn to Uncle Caruso.
Who's younger than all three of us? Just for context, he's younger than all three of us.
I know.
Okay.
Hey, Caruso, how do you do this?
You know, it's a tough look. The parade, the celebration did not look that fun.
No.
The people of Oklahoma, you should be ashamed. You did not show up for the parade. This is like one of Trump's parades, man. Like, nobody's there. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was watching the footage of that Oklahoma City one, and I was like, by God,
Yeah,
how is nobody at
There
this
was no one
parade
there.
right now?
I just don't you just won a championship. Hey, man, they probably all had pens in their bags that they got out and started smoking instead of drinking. But there was so much booze left. Granted, you don't need to drink it. Spray it on each other. They've never seen someone celebrate a championship.
That is the
Well, they didn't know how to
confusing part.
open them. So, like, they're kind of
They're lucky the Michelob Ultras were freaking twist offs.
Here's an aside. We can keep going on
But
this.
also, Hams, if you're listening,
No, well, yes, Hams.
come on.
Give us a call.
Bring
Actually, Fair State Brewing.
Yeah.
We have been drinking quite a bit of your beer on the podcast because Hams has been unresponsive. You guys make great beer. Big doinks, big ups from us.
Yeah.
Now, anyways,
Fair State.
here's what I'm kind of thinking. You just win a championship.
Yeah.
You get in the locker room.
Yeah.
None of us are really champagne people, right? Like, you wouldn't really choose champagne.
No, I don't
Drinking
choose
it?
it.
Yeah.
I'll drink it if
Right.
someone gives me it.
I
yeah.
drink
So-
it 2 times a year, Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe not even Christmas.
Maybe
Continue.
Thanksgiving sometimes.
Oh, yeah, maybe Thanksgiving.
So, like, sure, the champagne is fun, celebratory. You spray it all over. You're not really drinking it. You know,
No,
it doesn't
you're
really
not.
matter. And you turn around to giant coolers that are only filled with Michelob Ultra. How disappointing would that be to you? Because it would bum me out, man. It would really bum me out if I turn around and I'm like, oh, that beer has electrolytes in it, doesn't it? Oh. Well, I don't know. I just played basketball from October to frickin' June, and now I get to celebrate with a beer with 30 calories. Great. I will have a water.
You know what? If you're somehow, some way in the office of the Minnesota Timberwolves and they win a championship, you're not looking at the Michelob Ultra. You're going to guzzle so much of that stuff down. Don't even tell me you're going to, oh, look at the Michelob. I'm not going to drink this.
Yeah, I don't think the Michelob.
Matt is pouring that all over himself as he drinks it. Ah.
I just think it would be a little disappointing. And the party looked fun when they got like the actual liquor in their hands, like when the Don
Yeah.
Julio bottles and stuff like that. That looked like fun.
Well, because that's what they're drinking these days.
I just think it would be a bummer again if I turn around and I'm like, "That's all Michelob Ultra, huh?"
Yeah.
Okay,
I understand
gotcha.
where you're coming from. I just found it fascinating that
Like,
the
you couldn't
dude-
get-
they just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, the twist
And
offs.
I
Like
don't
you,
even-
like pop bottles have that.
honestly, I don't even think it was the old school champagne with the metal cage around it and the cork.
Oh, that was probably
No,
all taken off for 'em.
Yeah,
No. Oh, maybe.
probably.
Oh, man.
It's a shame. I think it does tarnish their legacy a little
With all
bit.
this being
Yeah.
said,
They
with
no
all this
longer won a championship.
with
no
all this
longer.
being said, could they make it back next year for a crappy parade and a horrible post-championship celebration?
Oh, for sure.
Do you
They
think so?
could.
Either of these teams, Indiana or
I think Indiana's screwed because of
yeah, I
they
think
need a Haliburton.
I think Haliburton is the guy on that team. Siakam can have an MVP season, but I don't think they're going to get there.
I think even on his off days, he's the one who has them running in
Yeah.
a good team flow.
I think the Pacers are going to be really frisky. I think they're going to be really fun next year.
East is wide open.
They'll make the playoffs, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can all kind of chalk them up to like probably a 4 seed.
But when do we expect Haliburton to even be back? Do we even have a timeline?
He wouldn't be back until April, which is when the finals or when the playoffs probably start.
He won't be back for a year.
Oklahoma City, again, even though I was very high on them, and I predicted they were going to be on kind of a dynasty-type run, I've got some concerns of how they played against Denver and how they played against the Pacers.
I definitely don't think they have a freebie to it, but I definitely think they have the talent to make it again.
Everything injury-wise has to go right for them again.
Yeah.
They have to be able to peak at the right time. Who knows what it's going to look like for SGA next year with officiating. Maybe he's going to get more calls. Maybe people are going to crack down on him.
True.
Who knows?
No idea.
You know what I just thought of before you continue? Holmgren was out with like a fractured hip half the season.
Yeah.
Chet, I'm sorry for a lot of the stuff I said, but you need to still show up in the playoffs.
I don't regret it.
That's why he needs to go on the guest on diet.
Yeah, he does. Continue.
Get those egg, boy.
Yeah,
he doesn't break a hip.
But no, I just think coming out of the West is going to be extremely hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be extremely hard for a long time. And I was so high on the Celtics repeating this year. And then to watch them crumble to dust against that Knicks team that I still think is inferior to what the Celtics were as a team.
I think that was all in the Celtics taking bad shots.
I really feel like Denver might be friskier, will probably be a friskier team. Mm-hmm. I'm high on the Wolves, man. I think that they're going to have a great year next year. I know I said it out loud, so you're going to hate that.
Oh, boy.
But Houston, and who knows what the Lakers are going to do, and maybe the Clippers get really tired of Kawhi and they make a big splashy move or something like that. But like I really feel like it's going to be hard. And that Nuggets series, man, they got lucky out of it.
Yeah.
They got really lucky out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the crazy thing is you make it through there, and like we've said multiple times, when the West is all beat up, and then you play whoever's from the East, they got handed their victory.
So I don't know. I absolutely could see it. Absolutely, you could see it. They could absolutely get bounced in the second round next year.
Who are your two teams to watch out of the East and two teams to watch out of the West? Just right now with kind of the stuff you've seen on free agency. I know it just opened today, and we've talked about a little bit of it. What do you got?
The East is interesting.
The East is
back to open for...
It's wide open.
Can I influence this East conversation a little bit more with with a little free agent signing? Because the Atlanta Hawks
are making more moves.
They're making more moves. They've signed quite a few guys.
Look at all these injuries. We need everybody.
They saw the whole East be like, "Oh, they're all done. Let's go."
They're going for it. They signed Luke Kennard to a 1-year, $11 million deal.
Just a gunner. He just rips threes.
That's not nothing, man.
I know.
Now they've signed quite a few guys. I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker coming onto this team, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels was Defensive Player of the Year, Trae Young. If Kristaps gets over his virus, illness, whatever, maybe there's something there. Okongwu as their center. They got a fun team.
Yeah.
Ricochet. They had the number 1 pick in the NBA draft, not this year, but last year. And Ricochet was a solid player.
He was a solid player, yeah.
And I think he's still going to be a solid player. I'm going to say Atlanta in the East.
Okay.
Like, not to win it.
Are the Cavs running it back, though?
Yes, they are.
Did they lose anybody?
No.
Ty Jerome.
Yeah, one person.
Ty Jerome is going to the Grizzlies.
I think
added
Cavs are going to crush it in the season.
They added Melo.
And Lonzo.
Not Melo. Lonzo.
I think Cavs and Hawks are the two teams that I'm like, I can't wait to watch them again.
All right.
I got no clue what those Knicks are going to look like. I got no clue what Miami's going to do.
They're not going to have a coach by the first game.
Orlando.
Listen, Orlando, that's fun and all, but like,
I don't think
I gotta see it. You got it. I gotta see it. I gotta see you guys be able to make 89 points in a game. You got to be able to do it. And Desmond Bane is not giving me confidence.
And if they're not making 89 points, you better be holding teams to 75.
So I would say
can't do that.
I would say Hawks and Cavs for me,
okay,
out of the East.
West? How are the Timberpups?
Well, what do you guys think for the East?
Of the East?
Of the East, yeah. What do you? Who are you feeling?
Well, like I said, I already feel the Cavs for sure.
Cavs for sure for me. I don't want to count the Celtics out, but
I
think they're rebuilding.
Way too, like, it's just up there. Like, whoever wants to take, I think we'll be surprised. Is what I.
How about Pistons?
I was going to mention the Pistons.
You think they get a little frisky?
Yeah.
They didn't make the Anthony Simons trade that I wanted them to make, but you know.
I think we're gonna have something like the Cavs were last year, where we're just like, what?
Something
we did
out
not
of the blue.
expect this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, totally.
Could be Atlanta.
And I'm not saying they'll necessarily be number 2, but they're the one to watch. Like, They'll sneak up there somehow.
How about the West?
OKC's still got to be one to watch. They're amazing. The other one I'm going to mention that I think is a step away, and I'm curious after this trade that we were just talking about, is the Nuggets. I think they could bounce back and be right back where they were.
So Jokic is clearly not going to retire.
He's not done.
No, he won't be done.
If he decides his horses are more important, then sure, then maybe everybody has a chance.
Maybe he'll do an Andrew Luck and be like, oh, crap, I have to go back to America.
I'm still intrigued by the Clippers again.
Wow.
The Clippers could be fun.
Sure. I mean, maybe it's a cop-out to say the Timberwolves, but
I would like to see the Timberwolves
they re-signed
for your guys'
Nas
sake.
5 years, 125.
I just
They re-signed Julius Randle 3 for 100. You know what?
OKC exposed us.
Yes.
I don't know what we do to fix that. Well, don't turn over the ball, I guess.
Don't turn over the ball.
We don't have a ball handler.
So
we still didn't get one.
I'll take my favorite team out of the mix. I mean, Houston. I'm very excited to watch Houston next year.
I'm excited to watch him. I don't have trust in him.
You guys can laugh, but I'm excited to watch the Portland Trailblazers.
But do you think they're like a team to watch as in they're like up and coming, or like they're ready this year?
Was the question
Yeah, I don't
about
know.
teams
What
that
was
you
the
want to
original
watch
question,
play?
Taylor?
'Cause
Who do you have? Top 2 teams in the West, top
Oh,
2
not
teams in
Portland.
the
That's
East.
why I was wondering.
Who do you think are going to come out of the West and the East? Top 2 teams.
oh boy,
Because I do think Portland's one of the most exciting.
do I really think it's going to be Atlanta Cavs in their last in the Eastern Conference Finals? Now you're making me really reconsider this.
That's why I said.
And we
the
can just
surprise.
we can just butter this question up for later and let our fans and our viewers listeners just stew on it, and
Well,
we
who
don't
do
have
you
to
have
answer
in the
it.
West. Well, Matt thinks about it.
Yeah, I got to think about this more.
I like the Timber Pups. They're not really losing anything. They lost
No,
one player.
They're not losing anything, but they're also still have the exact same struggles that OKC exposed. is all
You
I'm
would
saying.
think a year older and a coach another year wiser, and
I think we need a ball handler. That's what
Yes.
we're missing, and they didn't get one.
not yet.
Not yet. Yeah,
And they don't
could
need
change
it-
my mind.
They
if
don't
something
need
happens.
a crazy good ball handler. They just need someone to come in and handle the rock and get assists, because you have
and play
very
defense.
and play a little defense. Yeah, you got good players on that team. They must want to win. They got Randall. They got Nas. Edwards is Edwards. Gobert, maybe he learned how to use his hands. I don't know.
No, that's not going to happen.
That's not possible.
Baby Gobert, maybe he comes
Yeah,
in
maybe
and plays
he'll be
some
a stud.
solid minutes
Who was your second team?
out of the West. Is that Oklahoma City? Yeah, that's Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So you're saying Western Conference Finals rematch?
I think so.
pretty much.
I think so.
I could see that.
I'm gonna go Houston against Minnesota.
That would be
Alright.
fun.
I think Minnesota conquers their demons against OKC, and I think they make the championship
I hope you're right.
against the Cavs.
And now
I
he
love
said
it.
it, and we're all screwed.
I love it.
We're not putting this. We are not
Yeah.
putting a single dime on this prediction. But I like the Wolves. I'm confident in them. I like the Cavs still. They crap the bet against the Pacers real bad, but I just think, like you said,
I'm not sure we see that again though.
who's
Like, who's gonna
standing in
stop
the
them?
way of
Yeah.
the Cavs next year.
Yeah.
There's not.
So
the
you got
Pacers
Wolves.
and OKC defenses
You got
are
Wolves,
crazy.
Cavs in the finals.
Wolves, Cavs,
2026. You heard it here, folks. Folks.
and the Wolves
Were
win.
you
it.
sticking with your Atlanta as your second team over there?
No, I don't think I can. It sounds nice, but
But can you pick anybody? Because there's really not like a
see this
maybe
is
Boston.
this is
I
the
guess.
problem is I don't think Boston. I think they might be in a bit of a free fall, or
I don't
maybe
think
Jalen
Boston will
Brown
make
takes
the
over.
finals, but I could see him in the conference.
I think
finals.
Jalen Brown next year is going to do some crazy numbers. I don't think Boston. They'll be in the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make it anywhere.
76ers. That do anything for you?
No.
I hope not.
I know it does something for Trevor.
Makes me angry.
He dreams about the 76ers every night.
You know what?
Failing.
I'll keep the Hawks in there. I'll keep the Hawks in there. There was once upon a time Trae Young made an Eastern Conference Finals, and we thought it was going to be a thing.
Wasn't that like his second year in the
It
league?
was a while ago. Yeah,
It's whoever
It was a
Matt
while ago,
says
yeah.
has zero chance they're going to explode. Who's that going to
Yes.
be? That's who I predict is the second team.
Ooh, then it would be my Portland Trailblazers.
Well, that's on the west side.
That's
though.
on the west side. Yeah, on the east side of things, I mean, I would like to say the Knicks, but also I could see the Knicks just be a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Like, they've had a
Oh.
lot of turmoil after this
Shoot,
Thibodeau
that's
thing.
not what we wanted to hear. No, the Knicks are going to Well, they'll have the best record and not win, so perfect.
How about this? A little reverse. I think the Hornets are going to be great.
Ooh.
I think LaMelo Ball is actually going to learn how to finish a shot at the rim. He made 52%. He had the lowest
I
rim
literally can't
percentage
tell
in
if
the
you're
entire
joking
NBA.
or not. Right
He made 52% of his shots at the rim.
That's
Taylor.
bad.
Taylor, 52%. How do you do that? At the rim.
That's bad.
I'm not going to talk about LaMelo.
Knuple's going to be the next guy.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Oh, man. Are you guys sad the NBA season's over?
I am
Yeah.
bummed.
I am. What are we going to do now?
Especially when there's not like football to watch either.
No.
We're not grinding
I'm
over
not gonna
baseball.
do baseball, no.
So you know what is coming up? We are going to get in some bonus/extra podcasts here over the next couple months. We have the Wives back on whenever that is, later in July, to talk about book 2 of
Whatever Fourth Wing series is called.
whatever Fourth Wing series that is. And then we have a very exciting episode for you guys coming up in August. That is going to be, take it away, Matt.
The Diane Warren Awards.
Oh, man. And just looking at the notes right now, it is going to
Everyone's
be
gotta listen to
an
that one. That's a good one.
absolute killer of an episode.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, probably won't be hearing from us three for a couple months. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. The podcast will be putting out episodes, but the guys will be back in August.
We got a big football.
Good.
Big.
I can't wait. I'm going to start grinding over those Jaden tapes. The second the Diane Warren Awards are over, Jaden Daniels from August until Super Bowl. Because they're going to win.
Amen.
Love you guys. See ya.